Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan for week 4 Wednesday for Algebra 2 Semester 2. Here are your warm-ups, so go ahead and pause the video and answer the following questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with today's stuff, you guys. First thing I asked you is like, how many hours in a day do you need to keep up with your lifestyle? So make sure you have the 3 questions answered because your warm-up log is due on week 9 Friday. If you have been absent or tardy and you don't know what the questions are, you just go to the YouTube channel, and in which case at this point there are actually several videos there. So if you're like, where do I go to find that, you just go to your MS Team, or you can use a QR code that I gave you guys at the beginning for this class. If you don't have that, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to give you another one. And then you just simply scroll up on MS Team, and I basically have pasted right here. This is your algebra 2, and you have your Google Doc syllabus. But in addition to that, the more important one is going to be your video that you will need for this class. So let's see, where is it? See, that's for Friday. Where do I find that one? See, oh, there we go. See more. There we go. Now I have it. Okay, so you just click on that link right here for the Algebra 2 channel. My internet is working a little bit slow today, so just be patient. Now open the link. Okay, here we go. And then once you get to this part here, there are 14 videos for this class because we've had 14 different lessons. And so everything that you need, and now it's all popping up, which is really annoying. Since week 1 is already here, and so you go all the way down here. Yesterday was week 4 Tuesday, and I usually just upload your video right after class. Okay, so they can't really see you. There's no camera. It's just my PowerPoint and then my voice, and then that's basically it. Okay, so it's not breaching your security or anything. So if you are absent or you have not completed your guided notes or whatnot, make sure you watch the videos because you do have that option of keeping up to date. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and move on. Every week, remember you have your math Excel and your quiz. We're now in week 4, not week 3. So let me just go back and modify that very quickly. There we go. That up. Okay, or just delete the whole thing. There we go. And it is assigned to you guys every Monday. Your assignments are due by Sunday, 11 p.m. So keep that in mind. If it's late, you can still turn it in, but there's a penalty of 10 to 40% depending on how late your assignment is. And of course, there's always after school tutoring. So if you need some assistance to figure out how to raise your grade, you're welcome to go ahead and come see me here. And so this is all the things that you guys have. Things for week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 3, there's no quiz, so don't worry about that because it was like a short week because of MLK Day. And then week 4, you had your homework and also your quiz right here. Yesterday, I had you guys do a self-rating for the 4 skills that we're going to go over with this brand new packet. Does anybody need the brand new packet? Anybody? Come on up, my dear. And then if you have your old packet, you need to make sure you turn that in exactly graded over the weekend. And so if you have it, make sure you guys give that to me before you guys leave. And so then here is the breakdown of what we're going to be talking about specifically in terms of topic 4. We're going to get started with rationals, and that involves solving, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, etc. But today we're going to start from the very beginning, which is kind of like really at the forefront of this, and that is going to be specifically on variation with inverse functions. And so we'll do that. And so then today, this is your breakdown. We're going to talk about inverse and direct variations of a function. I have a decimals activity for you guys in addition to our quizzes. And then the materials that you guys are going to needing for today is a color paper, 2 sticky notes, and then an iPad. So I'm going to give that to you guys right now. So the sticky notes are going to be right over here. So feel free to grab 2 per person. You also need to have a color paper, which it's just going to be green. I'm going to put it right here for you guys. Okay, and then here's your iPad if you need it in case you don't have your cell phone. So with that said, just come on up, you guys, and then grab the materials that you need today. And then we will get started shortly. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with today's stuff today. I'm gonna have you guys go ahead and go on to Intro to Rational Functions right there. And I'm gonna give you guys a few definitions to go ahead and fill out. All right, so first things first, what is a rational function? A rational function is a function that is the quotient of two polynomials. And given the fact that we talked about polynomials all last unit, a polynomial is basically just a number with a letter chained together by plus and minuses. Which of these is a rational equation? Well, the first one here, it's 1/5. That's just a coefficient. Okay, so that's not a rational equation. The second one, x divided by 5, that's just a linear function, which means it's just going to be like a straight line. The 1/x, that one is your rational function. Okay, so inverse versus direct variation. Okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and get rid of that a little bit because you can't really see that until this is done. So I'm just gonna get rid of this part right here. Okay, so a inverse versus direct. Inverse, direct. So a direct variation is where the y varies directly as x and y is directly proportional to x. Okay, so a lot of time the formula will look like y equals k times x. That is direct variation. On the other hand, with inverse variation, it varies inversely, or it meaning y varies inversely as x. And with that one, it is y equals k divided by x. So this is the inverse variation. And also, if you take a look at the graph itself, the first one, if it's k times x, it's just linear. So it's a straight line. Whereas if it's k divided by x, and remember, this is how I'm saying that this is a rational function, it kind of looks like a curve. Like that. And then for the horizontal asymptote, the definition of that, it's basically just a horizontal line. A horizontal line means it goes from left to right. That's not part of the graph, but it guides the x values, okay? All right, so what is the horizontal asymptote for this function right here? If I were to go ahead and graph this, and this right here is 15/x plus 100. So let's take a look what that will look like. Okay? So I'm gonna go to y equals Okay, so maybe that won't work. Let's try this one. Okay, my computer is being a little bit slow today, but maybe we just won't go over that. Don't worry about it. We'll just move on to the next one. All right, sorry about that. So looking at this part here, let's go ahead and underline the important information. You work at a beverage company that makes lemonade by combining powder lemonade mix with water. So you have two different kinds. You have the mix, you have H2O, which is the water, okay? Currently in the tank, you have 200 gallons of water, 105 pounds of powder. You're responsible for adding more water and the mix into the tank, and it will automatically add 10 gallons of water to 6 pounds of mix per minute. So number one, before any water or mix is added to the tank, what is the concentration of lemonade mix to water? So lemonade mix to water. Well, before I add any extra, my lemonade mix is going to be 105 pounds of lemonade mix, okay, to 200 gallons of water. Then it says, write an expression for the total amount of water that is in the tank in minutes after you start the dispensing machine. Okay, so the total amount of water that is in the tank currently is 200 gallon. And so if I were to go ahead and write this expression, then I will just put total TW for the total amount of water of X, or actually it'll be T because that's T minutes. Okay, so T is in T minutes, is going to equal to 200 gallon, which is already going to be in there, plus every single minute that you have, it's going to put in an extra 10 more gallons of water. So then 10 T. So you start out with 200, and then you're going to have an extra 10 gallon every single minute. For number three, write an expression for the total amount of powder lemonade mix. So I'm going to put T for total amount, but it's going to be L for lemonade. T is going to be after T minutes, equals how much lemonade did we start off with? We started off with 105 pounds of lemonade, okay? Plus, after each minute, how many are you going to put more into that tank? 6 pounds, so 6T. All right, let's go on to the next part. Number four, write an expression for the concentration of lemonade mix to water. I have to kind of cut and paste that over. So give me just 1 second while I do that. Come on. Okay, so looking at this part here, write an expression for the lemonade to water. So lemonade comes first. So lemonade to water, lemonade comes first. Water is gonna go on the bottom. So I'm gonna write T, total amount of water or lemonade divided by water of T, because it's gonna be with T minutes is equal to how much lemonade did I start off with? I started off with 105 pounds of lemonade over 200 pounds of water. Okay, so 105 over 200 plus then how much am I pouring it in per minute? It's going to be lemonade on top. That is 6 pounds of lemonade over 10 pounds of water or gallons of water. T. So then it says find the concentration of the lemonade when T equals 12. So then what I'm going to do here is T of 12, because remember your T is 12 minutes, equals 105 over 200 plus, I can actually reduce the 6 over 10. That's just going to be 3 over 5 times 12. Okay, and all you have to do here is just basic multiplication. 3 times 12, this piece right here is going to give you a 36 over 5. So then I have 105 over 200 plus 36 over 5. Going back to 3rd grade, when you learn about common denominators, 5 times what gives me 200? Well, 20 divided by 5 is a 4, so it's going to be 40. Okay, so 5 times 40 is going to give me a 200, right? So that means I have to go ahead and multiply 36 by 40 as well on top. So 36 times 40, 0, 0, 24, 12, 13, 14. So I should have 0, 4, 4, 1. And just make sure I'm doing this correctly. I'm just going to multiply it. And I am correct. Yep. So now let's go ahead and add everything together. You have the common denominator of 200. And then 105 plus 1440 is going to give you a 1545. Okay, so that is your total. Now, if you're like, how can I go about reducing this? The way that you can do this is you can ask yourself, what can I divide into 1545 and then 200? And I wish my calculator is working right now, but okay, here we go. Maybe it is. It's just taking a long time to get us set up. So give me a second here. Let's see. Browse. Okay, so here is your calculator, and let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Well, let's see. Yeah, and so then let me share that on screen here. So then all you have to do with this is you're just going to insert 1545, so 1545. You're going to divide it by 200. If you're not sure how to reduce this, do you see the math button right there? You just click on the math button. It's already on fractions, so you just hit enter, enter, and it automatically reduces this down to 309 over 40, which is great because that's exactly what I want. So this is equal to 309 over 40. And you want to make sure you put the units there. And this is going to be gallon per minute. Okay. And then, of course, if you divide that, so 309 divided by 40, you'll get 7.725 gallon per minute. Is a lemon flavor beverage in the tank getting weaker or stronger? Well, if you think about it, you're adding basically 6 pounds of lemonade over 10 gallons of water. And so I don't know, I think you probably still, it's pretty consistent because you still have more water than lemonade. And so over time, it will get stronger, but then that water is also going to dilute it. Now, on the other hand, if the pounds of lemonade is bigger than the number of water or the gallon of water, then yes, it will get stronger. But 6 over 10 is still going to give you 3 over 5. which is 3/5 is 0.6. So your concentration is definitely less than 1. So I would say it's probably okay. All right, so next what I'm gonna have you guys do is we are going to take a look at inverse variations, okay? In inverse variations, direct variation is where you have two variables, x and y, and it's y equals k times x. With inverse variation, you still have two variables, but the equation is y over or equal to k divided by x. And k is referred to as the constant variation. And remember, there are two different graphs, okay? This one is direct variation, and you want to make sure you label it. And this one here is the inverse variation. So one is a straight line, the other one is a little bit more curved, okay? So this is in terms of graphs. Well, what if I give you guys a table? Would you be able to identify which one is the inverse variation, which one is a direct? The direct variation just have a straight line. So it's going from small numbers to small numbers. I mean, the numbers is pretty consistent. And so if I take a look over here, I see that's going from 12 to 6, 6 to 4, 4 to 3 for the x value. So this one right here would just be a direct variation. On the other hand, if I take a look at the next table, do you see how it's going jumping from 8 to 12, 12 to 20? So the skip is pretty, it's a lot quicker, okay? And there's more units in between them. So this will be the inverse. Now to help you guys practice with this, let's go ahead and take a look at the next part. So in direct variation, the variable varies in the same way. If one goes up, the other goes up. If the x value go down, the y value go down, okay? In an inverse, it's a little bit different. It does the opposite. So if x goes up, the y goes down. So that's the change in there. So for this example, identify the direct variation as direct or inverse. So let's take a look at this, okay? See if you can put the equation into y equals k times x or y equals k divided by x form. So the key here is if the x is gonna be in the denominator, it's an inverse, okay? So let's look at this. If I divide it by x on both sides right here, y is equal to 4 over x. And because the location of the x is on the bottom, you know that this one is an inverse variation. Now for b, I want to solve for y. So to get rid of that divided by 2, opposite of divide is a time. So I'm going to time 2 on both sides. So y equals 2x. Notice the x is on top, kind of like this one here, the first one. So this one is a direct variation. For C, the y is already solved, so you don't need to do any work. And guess what? The x is right there. And this is also a linear function. It's a straight line. And if it's going to be a straight line, you know this is a direct variation. So we went over 3 different ways of how to identify inverse versus direct. We first looked at a graph. Then we looked at a table. And lastly, we looked at equations, okay? And for the equations, you just need to solve for y. All right, so I'm done with this part here. I'm gonna have you guys grab your color paper or your sticky note. I'm going to show you guys 2 videos. You're just going to jot down the example on your 2 sticky note. And so we're gonna watch the first video right over here. And I'm sorry, my computer is like really, really slow today for some reason. So it's just taking its sweet time. Okay, here we go. So that is your direct variation. So take a moment, finish your sticky note. You don't need to write down everything, but maybe just like a little note to yourself about what direct variation is. And then I'm gonna move on to the second sticky note. All right, you guys. So now what I'm gonna have you guys do is we are gonna go on to your color paper. So you can put your 2 sticky notes just on it, and that's totally fine. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with your quizzes. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, let's actually do the quizzes. I think that'll be better. Originally I was gonna have you guys do a Desmos, but I think we'll do the quizzes instead. Yeah. So you just want to show your work on your color paper if you need to. And then with your cell phones, you're going to go ahead and go to joinmyquiz.com and then you're going to insert the code. It's going to be 15 questions. $875-466. And for those of you guys who are with me online, you guys are going to go on to exit ticket. So for week 4, Wednesday, it's going to look something like this. So you can use the form code or the QR code and make sure you complete your exit ticket alongside with the activities. Have a great day.